Maya Chen stared at her phone screen, certain she'd misheard. The Cherry Blossom Festival itinerary she'd spent months perfecting lay spread across her dining table, each day color-coded and annotated with her mother's preferences. Temples in the morning when it was cooler, traditional tea ceremonies in Kyoto, the Ryokan reservation in Hakone that had taken 4 attempts to secure. "What do you mean you can't go?" Maya's voice came out steadier than she felt. "Honey, I know this is last minute, but Emma needs me." Linda's tone carried that familiar mix of guilt and defensiveness that Maya had learned to dread. "She's getting married. This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment." "Mom, we leave in 3 days." 3 days? Maya picked up the printed boarding passes, her hands trembling slightly. "I've been planning this trip for 2 years. We both have. Remember, after Dad's funeral, you said you wanted us to reconnect, to heal." "I know what I said, but this is different." Emma's in love and Jake finally proposed. They want to get married next month, and you know how these things work. There's so much to plan, so much to coordinate. She needs her mother. The words hit Maya like a physical blow. She needs her mother. As if Maya didn't. As if Maya hadn't been the one holding Linda's hand through Dad's chemotherapy appointments, handling his insurance claims, managing his final arrangements while Emma was too emotional to help. "What about the deposits?" Maya asked, though she already knew the answer would crush her. $8,000, Mom, non-refundable. I've been saving since I got my promotion, eating ramen for lunch every day, skipping dinners out with friends." "Oh, sweetheart, I'm sure you can get some of it back. Travel insurance maybe, and think about it, wouldn't you rather that money go toward your sister's happiness?" This is Emma's moment to shine. Maya closed her eyes, remembering every sacrifice she'd made for this trip. The weekend freelance projects. The generic brand grocery. The apartment she'd chosen based on rent. Not preference, just to sock away money for 10 perfect days with her mother. "When did she decide on the date?" Maya asked quietly. A pause. "Too long." "Well, they've been talking about it for a while." "How long, Mom?" "Maya, you're being unreasonable. These things happen organically. You can't plan love." But Maya had caught the hesitation. She pulled up Emma's Instagram, scrolling through weeks of posts. There, a photo from a month ago. Emma holding up wedding magazines with the caption, "Starting to plan the big day." Liked by Linda, "She's been planning this for weeks." Maya said, her voice flat. "You've known for weeks. Now Maya, you encouraged her to pick these dates, didn't you? While I was showing you temple photos and teaching you basic Japanese phrases." Maya Elizabeth Chen, you are 28 years old. Emma is barely 25, and this is her first real relationship that's gone anywhere. You should be happy for your sister, not acting like a spoiled child. Spoiled child. Maya, who had never asked for anything, who had been the reliable one, the responsible one, the one who cleaned up everyone else's messes. Maya, who had held her tongue through years of Emma's dramatic breakups, failed college attempts, and impulsive decisions that somehow always became family emergencies requiring everyone's attention and Linda's financial support. "I should understand, because I'm older," Maya repeated slowly. "Right. Of course. Exactly. I knew you'd understand. You always do. You're my responsible daughter." Responsible, the consolation prize for a lifetime of coming sec. Maya looked at the boarding passes again, at the carefully planned itinerary, at the photos of cherry blossoms she'd bookmarked for her mother to see. 2 years of dreaming, saving, planning. 2 years of believing that maybe, finally, she could have her mother's undivided attention for 10 days. "I have to go, Mom. I'll figure out the deposits. That's my girl. I knew you'd understand." And Maya, thank you. This means everything to Emma. You're such a good big sister. Maya hung up and sat in the silence of her apartment, surrounded by the detritus of a dream deferred. Again, but this time felt different. This time something cold and sharp had settled in her chest, where disappointment usually lived. This time Maya wasn't sure she wanted to understand anymore. Maya spent the next morning mechanically calling airlines, hotels, and tour companies, each conversation a fresh reminder of her financial losses. $8,000 gone. The customer service representatives offered practice sympathy, but no solution. Travel insurance didn't cover family emergencies, especially ones that had been brewing for weeks. She was on hold with the Ryokan in Hakone when her phone buzzed with notification. Emma had posted on Instagram a photo of herself at a bridal boutique, arms full of white dresses, beaming at the camera. The caption read, "OMG you guys. Mom and I have been secretly planning this for weeks and I can finally share, getting married next month." Maya's finger hovered over the screen, secretly planning for weeks. While Maya had been texting Linda photos of Japanese gardens and asking about her dietary restrictions for the traditional kaiseki dinners she'd booked, the comments were already pouring in. "Aunt Sarah, so exciting. Your mom must be over the moon. Cousin Jessica, Linda's going to be the best mother of the bride." Emma's college friends gushing about the romance of it all. Then Maya saw it. A comment from her own grandmother, "What about Maya's Japan trip? I thought you two were leaving this week." Emma's response made Maya's blood freeze. Oh, Maya totally understood. She's so sweet she actually offered to postpone so Mom could help me plan. She's the best big sister ever. Offered to postpone. Maya screenshotted the comment, her hands shaking with rage. Her phone rang. Linda's voice was artificially bright. "I'm at the florist with Emma. You should see these arrangements." "I offered to postpone." Maya's voice was dangerously quiet. "What?" "Emma's telling everyone I offered to postpone our trip, that I graciously stepped aside for her wedding." Silent. Then, "Well, you did understand. I didn't offer anything, Mom. You canceled on me. There's a difference." "Maya, please don't make this harder than it needs to be. People are just excited for Emma. People are excited because they think I'm some saint who sacrificed my dream vacation for my sister's happiness. Not because my mother chose her over me." Again, Maya hung up and opened her laptop. If Emma was going to lie about Maya's generosity, Maya wanted to know exactly what she was supposedly being generous about. The deeper she dug, the angrier she became. Emma's Pinterest boards, dating back 6 weeks, filled with wedding inspiration. Text messages Emma had screenshotted and posted to her close friends' Instagram stories. Messages from Linda about keeping it secret from Maya until we figure out the timing. But the final straw came from an unexpected source. Maya's college roommate Priya, who worked in event planning, called that afternoon. "Maya, I hope you don't mind, but I heard about Emma's wedding from my cousin. She knows Emma's fiancé's family. She mentioned something weird that didn't sit right with me." Maya's stomach dropped. "What kind of weird?" she said. "Emma's been bragging that she won some kind of test with your mom. Something about proving she was the favorite by getting your mom to choose her wedding over your vacation. I thought that had to be wrong, but..." The words hit Maya like ice water. "She said it was a test." "Yeah, apparently she's been telling people that she deliberately picked those dates to see if your mom would choose her over you." "Maya, please tell me that's not true." Maya sat down heavily. "It's true. Oh honey, I'm so sorry. That's really messed up." After Priya hung up, Maya stared at her reflection in her laptop screen. 30 years old next month. And she was still playing childhood games she didn't even know she was in. Still losing to a sister, who viewed their mother's love as a competition. She thought about every time she'd bitten her tongue when Emma got the bigger Christmas gifts, the more elaborate birthday parties, the college tuition payments while Maya worked 3 jobs and took out loans. Every time Linda had said, "Maya will understand when Emma needed money, attention or forgiveness." Maya had understood. All right, she'd understood that being the good daughter meant being the doormat daughter. That being responsible meant being forgettable. That loving her family meant accepting whatever scraps of affection were left over after Emma's needs were met. But this was different. This wasn't Emma being impulsive, or Linda being thoughtless. This was calculated, deliberate. A test that Maya had failed, simply by trusting that her mother's word meant something. Maya opened a new browser tab and began typing. If Emma wanted to play games, if she wanted to test who was really the favorite, then Maya would show her exactly what the responsible daughter was capable of when she stopped being responsible. It was time Emma learned that some tests had consequences she wasn't prepared for. It was time Emma learned that some tests had consequences she wasn't prepared for, and Maya was done being the sister who always lost. Maya spent the weekend in a fury of research that would have impressed her old law school professors. She'd switched to marketing after deciding she didn't want to be a lawyer, but the analytical skills remained sharp as ever. First, the money trail. Maya pulled up every family financial document she had access to, which, thanks to helping Linda manage Dad's final affairs, was more than anyone realized. The picture that emerged made her sick. Emma's spontaneous wedding was being funded by a cocktail of family money that should have been off limits. There was $15,000 from Dad's life insurance payout money that was supposed to be split between the sisters for future needs. Another $12,000 from Linda's retirement account withdrawn with early penalties. In the real kicker, a $25,000 home equity loan against the house Dad had spent 30 years paying off. Over $50,000 for a wedding. More than 6 times what Maya had lost on the Japan trip. Maya pulled up her copy of Dad's will and the financial power of attorney documents she'd helped Linda set up during his illness. Her stomach dropped as she remembered something she'd forgotten in her grief. Linda had insisted Maya be named as backup power of attorney, just in case something happens to me, dear. You're so good with numbers. Maya had never expected to use it. She'd signed the papers to give Linda peace of mind, not to control family finances. But there it was, in black and white, Maya Chen, alternate power of attorney for Linda Chen's estate and financial decisions, effective immediately upon invocation. She kept digging. Emma's wedding planning social media posts showed a guest list of 200 people, a venue that cost $300 per plate, an address that retailed for $4. This wasn't a simple celebration, this was a production designed to drain every available family resource. Meanwhile, Maya's own financial situation was crystal clear. $8,000 poorer, with nothing to show for 2 years of sacrifice. Maya opened a legal document template and began typing. If Linda wanted to make financially catastrophic decisions to fund Emma's fairy tale, she could do it with her own money, not with assets that legally required Maya's approval to access. The power of attorney was ironclad. Maya had made sure of that when Dad was dying, terrified that Linda would be vulnerable to financial predators. She'd never imagined the predator would be their own daughter. Her phone buzzed with a text from Emma. Maya, can you believe Mom's taking out a loan for my wedding? She's the best mom ever. Hope you're not too sad about Japan. Maybe you can go next year. Maya stared at the message. Emma knew about the loan. Of course she did. She probably suggested it. Maya scrolled through more of Emma's posts, finding one that made her blood boil. A photo of Emma and Linda at a cake tasting, captioned, "When your mom loves you enough to sacrifice everything for your special day. Blessed daughter, mom love. Worth it. Sacrifice everything," including Maya's relationship with their mother, Maya's savings, and Linda's financial security. Maya pulled up her laptop and began crafting her response. Not to Emma. Emma wasn't the real problem. Emma was just doing what she'd always done, taking whatever she could get away with. The real problem was Linda, who had enabled this behavior for so long that Emma genuinely believed she deserved unlimited access to family resources. Maya opened a new email and began typing. Linda, after reviewing the family financial situation, following your decision to cancel our trip, I've discovered some concerning information about how Emma's wedding is being funded. As Dad's alternate power of attorney, a role you insisted I take to protect our family's financial interests, I'm officially notifying you that I'm exercising my legal authority over any transactions involving Dad's estate, including his life insurance payout. Additionally, I'll need immediate reimbursement for the $8,000 in non-refundable deposits from our canceled trip. Since you canceled our vacation to fund Emma's wedding, it seems appropriate that the wedding budget covers the financial damage your decision caused. You have 48 hours to confirm how you plan to address both issues. If I don't hear from you, I'll be forced to take legal action to protect Dad's estate from further unauthorized use. Maya read it 3 times before hitting send. Her hands were shaking, but not from fear, from the rush of finally fighting back. Her phone rang within 10 minutes. Maya Elizabeth Chen, what is the meaning of this email? Exactly what it says, Mom. I want my money back, and I want Dad's estate protected from Emma's spending spree. You can't be serious, it's a wedding, not a spending spree. A $50,000 wedding, funded by retirement accounts, and Dad's life insurance. Money that should have been split between Emma and me, not funneled entirely to her party. How do you? Linda stopped. You've been going through my finances. You gave me power of attorney, remember? You said I was good with numbers. Well, these numbers don't add up to anything, except Emma getting everything she wants while I get nothing. Maya, please, let's talk about this reasonably. Reasonably, Maya laughed, a sound with no humor in it. Like you talked to me reasonably before canceling our trip. Like you reasonably included me in the decision to spend my inheritance on Emma's wedding. It's not your inheritance yet. Actually, it is. Dad's life insurance was specifically designated for future needs of both daughters to be distributed at Linda's discretion. But the power of attorney gives me veto power over estate decisions, which means I can freeze access to those funds until we resolve this properly. The silence stretched so long Maya wondered if Linda had hung up. You wouldn't, Linda finally whispered. Try me, Maya said, and meant it. 48 hours, Mom. Figure out how to make this right, or I'll show you exactly how good with numbers I really am. Maya hung up and immediately called her lawyer, the one who'd helped with Dad's estate planning. She needed to understand exactly how much power she held, and more importantly, how far she was willing to go to use it. Because Maya was done losing, and she was very, very good with numbers. Maya's phone started ringing at 6:47 a.m. the next morning. Emma's name flashed on the screen, followed immediately by 3 missed calls. Maya let it go to voicemail while she made coffee, listening to Emma's increasingly frantic messages. Maya, what the hell? Mom is freaking out about some legal thing. Call me back. Seriously, Maya, this isn't funny. Mom's crying and saying you're going to ruin my wedding. You can't be serious about this lawyer stuff. Maya, pick up your phone. This is my wedding we're talking about. Maya was sipping her coffee when the 4th call came through. This time she answered. What do you want, Emma? What do I want? I want to know why you're trying to destroy my life. Emma's voice was already tear-thick and dramatic. Mom told me what you're doing with Dad's money. How could you? This is supposed to be the happiest time of my life. The happiest time of your life is being funded by money that was meant for both of us. Maya said calmly, money you're spending while I'm out $8,000 because of your little test. Test? What test? Maya, you're not making sense. Cut the act, Emma. I know you picked those dates deliberately. I know you've been bragging about proving you're Mom's favorite. And I know you think this is all a game. The silence stretched long enough that Maya wondered if Emma had hung up. Then came the sound she'd been expecting. Emma's signature breakdown, crying. It wasn't like that. Okay, maybe I did want to see if Mom would choose me, but that's not the same as trying to hurt you. I needed to know she loved me as much as she loves you. She loves. Maya laughed bitterly. Emma, she canceled a trip we'd been planning for 2 years with 3 days' notice. She's spending $50,000 on your wedding while I'm eating the cost of her betrayal. What part of that sounds like love to you? She does love you. She's always talking about how proud she is of you, how responsible you are. Responsible, right, the consolation prize for being forgettable. Emma's crying intensified. Maya, please, I'm sorry about the Japan trip, okay, but you can't ruin my wedding over this. Jake's family is already asking questions about the drama, and if you freeze the money now, maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to test Mom's loyalty. I'll pay you back for Japan, I promise. After the wedding, Jake and I will figure out a payment plan. With what money, Emma? You don't have a job. Jake works retail. You're planning a $50,000 wedding on hopes and dreams. We'll figure it out. We always do. And there it was, the fundamental difference between them. Emma always expected someone else to figure it out. Maya had been figuring it out for both of them her entire life. You have 47 hours left, Maya said, and hung up. Within an hour, Maya's phone was buzzing with family members. Aunt Sarah called first, clearly primed by Linda. Maya, sweetie, your mother is beside herself. Surely you can work this out without lawyers. I'm not involving lawyers, Aunt Sarah. I'm just exercising the legal authority Mom gave me to protect Dad's estate. But it's Emma's wedding. You only get married once. Some people only get married once. Emma's been engaged twice before this. Aunt Sarah's pause was telling. Well, still, family should come first. I agree. That's why I'm making sure Dad's wishes are honored instead of being ignored for a party. Next came cousin Jessica, then Uncle Mark, then Emma's godmother. Each call followed the same pattern. Initial attempts at peacemaking, followed by guilt trips, followed by uncomfortable silence when Maya calmly explained the financial reality of Emma's wedding. But the most illuminating call came from someone unexpected. Jake's mother, Patricia. Maya, I hope you don't mind me calling. I got your number from Emma. I wanted to ask you about some things that don't make sense to me. Maya's pulse quickened. What kind of thing? Well, Emma's been telling everyone that you volunteered to postpone your trip. But then she told Jake's sister that you were just jealous and trying to ruin her happiness. And now there's talk about frozen bank accounts and lawyers. I'm trying to understand what's really happening here. Maya found herself liking Patricia immediately. What's really happening is that Emma planned her wedding to deliberately conflict with a trip I'd been planning for 2 years. Then lied about my reaction to make herself look better. That's concerning. And the money issue. Emma's wedding is being funded by money from my father's estate, and my mother's retirement account. Money that should have been split between Emma and me but is instead being used entirely for her wedding while I absorb the financial loss from our canceled trip. Patricia was quiet for a long moment. Maya, can I ask you something directly? Is Emma financially stable enough to be getting married right now? The question hung in the air. Maya thought about Emma's credit card debt, her pattern of quitting jobs when things got difficult, her assumption that family money would always be there to bail her out. I think that's a question you should ask Emma, Maya said finally. I think I will, Patricia said grimly. Thank you for being honest with me. After Patricia hung up, Maya felt a grim satisfaction. Emma's manipulation was starting to unravel under scrutiny from people who actually mattered. Jake's family. Her phone buzzed with a text from Linda. Maya, please call me. We need to talk about this reasonably. Maya texted back, I gave you 48 hours. You have 36 left. The response came immediately. Emma is hysterical. She's talking about eloping or calling off the wedding entirely. Maya stared at the message. Part of her, the part that had spent years being the responsible sister, wanted to cave. But the larger part, the part that was tired of being taken for granted, felt only cold satisfaction. She typed back, then she should have thought about that before she decided to test you. 35 hours. Maya turned off her phone and poured herself another cup of coffee. For the first time in years, she wasn't worried about managing everyone else's crisis. She was creating one of her own, and she was very good at it. Maya's ultimatum expired on a Tuesday at 3:47 p.m. She was sitting in her office, pretending to review marketing campaigns while actually watching the clock, when her phone erupted with notifications. Linda, please don't do this. Emma, Maya, I'm begging you. Aunt Sarah, think about what your father would want. Maya silenced her phone and opened her laptop. She'd spent the morning finalizing the paperwork with her attorney. One signature, and she could freeze access to Dad's estate funds until a court-mediated resolution. Another signature, and she'd formally demand reimbursement for her vacation losses, with interest. Her finger hovered over the mouse. This was it, the point of no return. Her office phone rang. Maya almost ignored it, but the caller ID showed her mother's work number. Maya, thank God. Please, we need to talk. Face to face. Can you come to the house after work? Is Emma going to be there? Yes, and Jake too. His parents are asking questions and she's not doing well. We need to figure this out as a family. Maya glanced at the legal documents on her screen. 5 o'clock. And Mom, I'm bringing my lawyer. Your lawyer? Maya, please. 5 o'clock. Maya arrived at her childhood home to find cars lining the driveway. Not just Linda and Emma's cars, but Jake's truck and a sedan she didn't recognize. Through the front window, she could see figures moving around the living room. Her attorney, David Kim, pulled up behind her. They'd worked together on Dad's estate, and he'd been grimly satisfied when Maya explained the current situation. Remember, David said as they walked to the door, you hold all the cards here. Don't let emotion override strategy. Linda opened the door before Maya could knock. Her mother looked haggard, older than Maya had ever seen her. Maya, thank you for coming. David, I didn't realize. Is this really necessary? Mrs. Chen, your daughter has legitimate concerns about estate management that require legal clarification. David said formally. The living room felt like a battlefield. Emma sat on the couch, eyes red and swollen, clutching Jake's hand. Jake looked uncomfortable, glancing between Emma and his parents, who sat stiffly in Dad's old armchairs. Patricia nodded at Maya with something that looked like approval. Well, Linda said, her voice artificially bright, now that we're all here, maybe we can work this out reasonably. Before we start, Patricia interrupted, I think we need to address some inconsistencies in what we've been told. Emma's face went pale. What do you mean? I mean, Emma, that you've told 3 different versions of this story to 3 different people. To your family, you're the victim of Maya's jealousy. To my family, Maya graciously offered to postpone her trip. To your friends, you won some kind of test against your sister. Which one is true? The silence was deafening. Maya watched Emma's face cycle through expressions: panic, calculation, defiance. I never meant for it to sound like that, Emma whispered. Sound like what? Jake asked quietly. Emma, what test? Maya felt the moment crystallize. This was it, the confrontation she'd been building toward. Tell him, Emma, Maya said. Tell Jake how you deliberately chose wedding dates that would conflict with the trip I'd been planning for 2 years. Tell him how you called it a test to see if mom would choose you over me. That's not, I didn't, Emma's voice cracked. Tell him about the $50,000 being spent on your wedding while I'm out $8,000 because mom canceled our trip with 3 days' notice. $50,000? Jake's father spoke for the first time, his voice sharp. Linda jumped in. Now let's not focus on numbers. Actually, let's focus on exactly that. Maya pulled out her folder. $15,000 from dad's life insurance, money designated for both daughters. $12,000 from mom's retirement account, with early withdrawal penalty. $25,000 from a home equity loan, against the house dad spent 30 years paying off. Patricia's face had gone stone cold. Emma, is this true? Weddings are expensive, and mom offered. I offered because Emma needed help. Linda's voice was getting shrill. Maya, you're making this sound worse than it is. Am I? Maya stood up, David beside her. Let me make this very simple. Emma orchestrated this situation to test mom's loyalty. She won. Mom chose her over me, just like always. But Emma made one mistake. Maya pulled out the power of attorney documents. She forgot that dad made me the backup authority over his estate specifically to prevent irresponsible financial decisions, and a $50,000 wedding funded by inheritance money and retirement savings. That's about as irresponsible as it gets. Emma burst into tears. Maya, please, you're ruining everything. This is supposed to be the happiest time of my life. The happiest time of your life is built on lies and manipulation. Maya shot back. You lied to mom about the timing. You lied to the family about my reaction. You lied to Jake's family about your finances. When exactly were you planning to tell the truth? Jake looked at Emma like he'd never seen her before. Emma, you told me Maya was being supportive. You said she understood. She should understand. She's older, she has her career. She doesn't need mom like I do. Need mom to do what? Maya's voice was deadly quiet. Need mom to fund your lifestyle? Need mom to choose you over everyone else? Need mom to lie for you when your choices have consequences? I don't need her to lie for me. Then tell the truth right now, to everyone in this room. Tell them how you planned this, how you tested mom, how you expected me to just accept losing $8,000 because your wedding was more important than my relationship with our mother. Emma looked around the room at Jake's horrified face, at his parents' disapproval, at Linda's desperate expression, at Maya's cold fury. Emma's voice broke. I was scared, okay? I was scared that mom loved you more because you're so perfect, so responsible, so everything I'm not. And I thought if I could just prove that she'd choose me for once, just once. The room fell silent, except for Emma's crying. Patricia stood up. Jake, we need to talk. Outside. As Jake's parents led him out of the room, Emma's cries became desperate. Jake, wait, this isn't what it looks like. But Jake was already at the door, his parents flanking him protectively. Linda finally spoke, her voice broken. Maya, please. I know I made mistakes, but don't punish Emma for my failure. Maya looked at her mother, really looked at her, and saw not the strong woman who'd raised her, but someone who'd been enabling destructive behavior for so long she couldn't tell the difference between love and harm. You're right, Mom. This isn't Emma's fault. It's yours. You taught her that manipulation works, that crying gets her what she wants, that someone else will always clean up her messes. You taught me that being responsible means being invisible, that loving my family means accepting whatever scraps of attention are left over. Maya picked up her purse. I'm freezing access to Dad's estate as of right now. Emma's wedding can proceed, but it'll be funded by money that actually belongs to her, not by inheritance that should be shared or by Mom's retirement that she'll need to survive. Maya, wait. And I want my $8,000 back, with interest. You have 7 days. Maya headed for the door, David following. At the threshold she turned back. Oh, and Emma, next time you want to test someone's love, make sure you're prepared for the result. Maya walked out into the evening air, leaving behind the sound of Emma's sobs and Linda's desperate pleas. For the first time in her life, Maya had won. But as she sat in her car, hands shaking with adrenaline, she wondered if winning was supposed to feel quite so much like destruction. Maya didn't sleep that night. She sat at her kitchen table, staring at the legal documents that would formalize her victory, feeling hollow instead of triumphant. Her phone had been silent since she'd left her mother's house. No desperate calls, no manipulative texts, no last-ditch emotional appeals. The silence was somehow worse than the chaos. At 6 a.m., Maya made a decision that surprised even herself. She called David and asked him to hold off on filing the papers. Then she drove to Linda's house. Her mother answered the door in her bathrobe, eyes swollen from crying. "Maya, I thought, we need to talk." Linda led her to the kitchen where they'd had 1,000 conversations over the years. Maya noticed her mother's hands shaking as she poured coffee. "I've been thinking all night," Maya said, "about what I really want from this." Linda looked up hopefully. "I don't want to destroy Emma's wedding, Mom, but I also can't pretend anymore that our family dynamic is healthy. We need real changes, not just promises." "What kind of changes?" Maya pulled out a handwritten list. "First, Dad's inheritance gets split equally between Emma and me as it should have been from the beginning. Emma can use her half for the wedding, but my half goes into an account I control." Linda nodded slowly. "Second, you acknowledge publicly to the family, to Emma's friends who heard her lies, that I didn't volunteer to give up my trip, that you canceled on me and that was wrong." "Maya, I'm not finished." "Third, Emma postpones the wedding for 3 months. She plans it herself, with her own money and Jake's, showing she can actually be responsible for once. No more family bailouts." Linda's face crumpled. "She'll never agree to that. Then she'll lose Jake anyway. His parents already think she's financially unstable and manipulative. This is her chance to prove them wrong." Maya took a breath. "And fourth, you're coming to Japan with me. We're rebooking our trip, and Emma doesn't get to turn it into another crisis that requires your attention." "What if Emma needs me, Mom?" Maya's voice was gentle but firm. "Emma is 25 years old. It's time to stop treating her like she's 5. Linda was quiet for a long time. "And if I agree to all this, then we rebuild our relationship on honest terms. No more me being the understanding one while Emma gets everything she wants. No more you choosing between us. You choose to treat us equally." 2 hours later, Emma arrived with Jake in tow. He looked tired and Emma looked defeated. Maya wondered what conversations had happened in the 12 hours since she'd left. "Maya," Emma said quietly, "Jake's parents think I'm a liar and a gold digger." "Are you?" Emma flinched. I exaggerated some things. And maybe I did manipulate the timing, but I really do love Jake and I really do want to marry him." "Then prove it," Maya said. She outlined the same terms she'd given Linda. Emma's first instinct was to argue, but Jake cut her off. "Emma, these terms are fair, more than fair, but 3 months. 3 months to show my parents that you can plan something responsibly," Jake said firmly. 3 months to show me that you want to be my wife, not just have a wedding." Emma looked between Jake's serious face and Maya's implacable one. "What if I mess it up? Then you'll learn from it," Maya said, "like adults do." The changes weren't immediate or easy. Emma had 2 complete breakdowns in the first month, convinced that Jake would leave her, but Jake's patience, combined with the reality that no one was going to rescue her, forced Emma to actually grow up. She got a job, she created a realistic budget, she planned a wedding that was beautiful without being financially ruinous. Linda struggled too, catching herself mid-sentence whenever she started to make excuses for Emma's behavior, but slowly, painfully, she began to see how her favoritism had damaged both daughters. 3 months later, Maya and Linda stood in a temple garden in Kyoto, cherry blossoms falling like snow around them. Linda hadn't tried to cancel once. "I owe you an apology," Linda said quietly. "Not just for the trip, for for making you feel like you had to earn love while Emma just got it for free." Maya felt tears she'd been holding back for months. "I just wanted to matter to you. You've always mattered. I was so afraid of Emma falling apart that I forgot you might need me too." Back home, Emma's wedding was small, elegant, and entirely within her means. Maya watched her sister dance with Jake, seeing something different in Emma's face. Confidence instead of desperation, joy instead of triumph. "She looks happy," Maya said to Linda. "Really happy," Linda agreed. "Not performed happy." Maya realized that her revenge had never really been about punishment. It had been about breaking patterns that were slowly poisoning all of them. Sometimes you had to be willing to detonate the family dynamic to build something healthier from the rubble. Her phone buzzed with a photo from Emma, the bride and groom cutting a modest but beautiful cake, both beaming with genuine joy. The caption read, "Thank you for making me wait. This was worth doing right." Maya smiled and showed Linda the photo. For the first time in years, the family picture felt complete. Not because everyone was happy, but because everyone was real. The cherry blossoms continued to fall around them, each petal a small, perfect ending that made room for new growth.